There we go. We got some voice going on there. Anyways, Fathom, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the stream and welcome to the team. Savage Boy, how are you today? But I would love to see you go down. Whew. It's cold today. My God, it's cold. Let me see. Maybe that music. I'm gonna turn the music down just a tad bit. There we go. Oh man. Hello, Reese Million. Hello. How are you? Just a fair warning. I do pay attention more to my Twitch chat than I do to my TikTok chat. TikTok chat is only open to promote my real chat over in Twitch. So come give me a follow. Remember, if you'd like to be entered in to win the GMR kit, you have to be a subscriber. Subscribe to be entered in to this giveaway and future ones to come. Oh my God, I can't warm up. I need to buy a space heater. I think if I get a space heater, things will be a lot better down here. I would hope, seeing how I'm sitting right next to the furnace, that it would actually heat up faster down here, but it sure does not heat up very quickly. Oh my God, okay. So wait, right now it's summer in Australia? So it's basically like the complete reverse. If it's winter here, it's summer there. I guess that makes sense. Yeah, that does. I guess that does make sense. Although, what is the coldest temperature it has ever gotten where you live in Australia? Like what? 82? Has that been the coldest? Oh, boy. I'm still waking up. You know, I used to live down south, and it was kind of nice down the southern part of the United States because it doesn't get as cold. So it does get cold. Sometimes you'll wake up and it'll be 30s or something outside, but typically it doesn't get any lower than about 32, 34, which is okay. Here, though, it easily gets down below 10, 20 degrees. It's so annoying. But it is nice because then whenever it snows, it's actual snow. If it snows down south, it's more like frozen rain. And it's very painful. Oh boy, okay. I shall look it up. I don't know how to do the conversion either. I know that there's like some full formula, but I can't remember it. I never use it. I can vaguely like remember what it looks like, but I just don't remember. It's been too long. It's like something times something parentheses plus 32. I think it's the formula to convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit and vice versa. I have an unstable connection. There we go. Good connection. So is it true? I know that there's always all these talks about how in Australia. Wow, I'm a little overexposed there. What's going on? Let me turn off a light real quick. Hold on. Let's see. Which light needs to get cut? I think this one. Let's see. Does that work better? No, I'm still a little bit overexposed. Hello, TikTok chat. Hold on one second. I need to figure out what's causing this. Maybe it's this. This has to be it. Because this one seems pretty dark, or pretty bright. Maybe it is that. Ugh. I can't tell what's causing the overexposure. That's fine, whatever. Alright, so let's see. Let's figure this out. Let's see, so you have negative 12 degrees Celsius. 12. That says it's 10.4 degrees Fahrenheit. That does not seem right. That doesn't seem right. If it's negative 12 degrees Celsius where you live, then it's 10.4 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm gonna... Are you sure you don't I mean, that's pretty cold. 10 degrees Fahrenheit's pretty cold. Sure it's not just 12 degrees? Because if it's 12 degrees Celsius, then it's 53.6. That makes more sense for Australia. Oh, it's the coldest it's ever gotten. Oh, right. Sorry. Sorry. Whenever you said where I live, I was thinking you were talking about in the present time. Sorry. Like I said, I haven't had enough. Yeah, I haven't had enough coffee yet. So, yeah, that's pretty cold. I think the coldest it's ever been here has been actually negative something degrees Fahrenheit, which is definitely very cold. Big numbers in Celsius. I think here it got down to negative 12 degrees Celsius, 12 degrees Fahrenheit, with a wind chill of negative 20. Yeah, that was a really miserable day. That was really bad. Oh my God, that day was really, really bad. You would go outside and try and get in the car to go for a ride or whatever, and you'd basically get stuck. Your windows wouldn't roll down. Doesn't matter what you did to them. They'd be stuck. Oh, so, fun story. My poor brother got COVID, unfortunately. I feel bad for him. Because he's a doctor, so, I mean, it kind of makes sense that he got COVID. The idea that he works with a lot of people. And kind of how his kind of profession requires him to be social. But he'd been really careful about lately and had no problems whatsoever. And the worst part about it is, like, the day he got tested, he was on his way home feeling awful and gets a flat tire. And the problem is he has one of those new hybrid cars from Hyundai, and they don't have a spare tire. They have a tire repair kit. And their claim is that it helps with fuel efficiency by not having the spare tire. And he's like, I don't think it's worth it. It definitely is not worth, the extra couple of miles just without the spare tire. Because, like, you can't do anything if there's a huge gash in your tire with a tire repair kit. Like, you can't fix that. There's no repairing it. You're just screwed. But he's like, well, at least I get 50 miles per gallon. I'm like, yeah, well, if you get stuck anywhere, you're screwed. Then you're going to get however far you can walk per gallon. I like pickle flavor Pop-Tarts for the Lolo. Okay, hey, to each their own. If you like pickled flavored stuff, go for the pickled flavored stuff. I know some people absolutely love it. It seems to be the go-to flavor for some of my friends for some reason. I know whenever I was at the professional combines, one person had a jar of pickle juice claiming that it helped with his cramps. I was like, hey man, if it works, it works. Use it. He was like, you want some? I'm like, no, I'd rather cramp than drink pickle juice. Ugh. I mean, I'll eat pickles, but I'm not going to drink the juice. That's too much for me. Yeah, he did get home. He had to call someone to come pick him up. I feel really bad for him because my brother really is a great guy. He's very thoughtful, but like, what's he supposed to do? He's in the middle of nowhere. He can't just walk home because he's like miles and he feels like death. So he was like, I had to call an Uber and I felt absolutely awful, but I had no other option because his wife is a lawyer and she was on the phone with a judge. And like, I don't know what the laws are in Australia, but if you're on the phone with a judge, you don't hang up for anything. Because one, the judge can pretty much have you fired, but two, whenever you're in court, you kind of want the judge on your side. So it was a really bad situation. I felt bad for him. All of this like happening while he's sick. And he didn't, at this time, he didn't know he had COVID, or he would have never even considered getting in the car or being around anybody. He just gotten tested because he didn't feel well. So he was home, he's driving home from the testing site. Hello, Thomas, how are you? You're making a killing off sales. Yeah, you know what? You probably would be making a killing off of sales selling pickled flavor Pop Tarts. Because people are like, man, what the hell is this? I'm going to have to try this. Then they try it and they're like, oh God, what have I done? um, it's really bad. Like, they have, but it's propaganda. It's like I think it was in Texas or something. I can't remember where. The media. See, then you're lucky, Savage Boy, because here it's really bad. The media is reporting that in some states the hospitals are overrun and there are no beds available. And then one of the nurses comes out and is like, "That's total bullshit because we have plenty of room. There is nothing to be afraid about. We don't understand why the media is reporting this because we have plenty of room and there's nothing to freak out about." But the media, so they keep saying that there's a lot of confirmed cases and stuff or whatever, which I'm starting to take as half truth. So I think if they say there's 80 confirmed cases, I'm thinking there's probably more like 40 or 50 confirmed cases. So I understand the United States is a big country, but the problem is that we're not reporting countrywide, we're reporting statewide. So, it's weird. And the biggest issue with it, so my brother, when he went to get tested the first time, it came back negative. So he was fine. And then he had to go back later and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, it was wrong. It's like, so you told him he wasn't sick. Now that he's come back, you're going to tell him that he is sick. So how are we supposed to trust the reportings? I don't know. Here in the US, it's just all over the place. So, I think in Australia maybe they're less focused on propaganda and more focused on just getting better and reporting correct numbers. So I just think the fact that the United States is not taking this as a countrywide mandate, they're taking it regional and municipality, is just not working. So it's bad, but it's not as bad as what they're making it. But if the media says it's bad, then it usually becomes bad because they create hysteria. And once you have hysteria set in, there's very little you can do to fix it. Because you get some people who live and die by the news outlets, and it's just ridiculous. And I just don't understand what they're doing. Why is it such a bad thing to report on the truth so that we can get past this? I just don't get it. But, we'll see. I just hope that the vaccine, although the vaccine, the reporting is having some adverse side effects. I know one person went into anaphylactic shock and nearly died. And now some women are freaking out because it's got the potential, a high potential to create infertility in women. And all these women who are like, I want kids, but I also don't want to die. But I don't have a choice. What do I do? It's like, well, why? We don't know. We don't know. I don't know what to tell you. So it's a really bad situation. I honestly I feel like COVID is more media pushed than it is actual truth. Like, I know it's bad. I understand it's bad. But, like, at the same time, is it as bad as the media is making it out to be? Because you can create a monster out of a mouse easily if you frame it in the correct story. And they're just not doing it. And all I want is soccer to go back to normal. I want throw-ins to be back. I want the level of play to be back. I'm just sick and tired of not being able to watch a real match anymore. And it's getting just stressful. It's tiring. And I just want to see a real soccer match. I mean, I know the professionals are playing, but, like, I don't coach professional. I coach, club level and high school level. I want to be able – I mean, of course, I coach college level, but even then, watching players wear masks and stuff, it's seriously a struggle. Savage Boy, that's pretty funny. So that's funny. I can see that happening. So the way that sports were affected. So let's start with high school level soccer. So high school level soccer, you're required to wear a mask. If you are to go to sporting events, you have to have a login QR code. If you don't have a login QR code, they make you leave. The way that they're managing things is that you have to be 1-to-1 ratio, which means for every single player on the field, there can only be one person in the sidelines for that one kid. So basically, only friends and only family members, only one family member is allowed per kid on field. And there's a maximum of, I think they said 100 people at the sporting event, including coaches and players. So, that you can't have a lot of people. Now, when we start talking about college was reduced to conference-only games, which means we can only play against people within our conference. So SEC, which is the Southeast Conference, can only play other Southeast Conference players, and so on and so forth. So college football, American football, has not been changed too much, but at the same time, you still see people having to wear masks. I'm sure they've got different restrictions put in. But to tell you the truth, COVID has actually positively impacted NCAA football, because what it's done is it's exposed a lot of bad referees, which is actually really cool to see, because it's easy to see referees' mistakes in the game when you don't have millions of fans in the millions of fans in the stands screaming and cheering, and your first thought is, oh, well, he's probably a little overwhelmed. Maybe all the cheering's got him rattled. No, there's nothing in the fans. You're standing out like a sore thumb, and it's kind of concerning. So in a way, it's kind of made it easier for officials to be called out for poor refereeing. So, but it's still, it's very reduced schedules, not playing a lot of games. They have a huge asterisk next to each game, which means, even though it might go into the record books, it's still kind of marred by the asterisk, which is something you don't really want to see on your record. Even though it's not something you can control, it's still, you might have the best season ever, but it was with handicaps, and, you don't want that. But, it's... The sports they're still happening. They can't really cancel them completely, but, for a while they were talking about it, and people here, they didn't really riot, but they weren't happy. So we have something called boosters, and they're the people you don't want to piss off. You do not want to make the boosters angry, because they are the ones who pay and give money to the program. So it's, wow, I actually have 0 people in TikTok chat. That's cool. If I have 0 people in TikTok, I don't need to be in TikTok. But yeah, so what was I saying? Totally lost my train of thought. But yeah, it's Yeah, it's crazy. I'm just waiting for everything to just go back to normal because, my brother is telling me all of his symptoms, and I'm like, dude, that sounds just like the flu. Like aches, pains, coughing, kind of some issues, but all in all, it just sounds like a really nasty version of the flu. And I understand a lot of people get really angry when you say, it's not the flu. Ah! It sounds a lot like the flu. Ooh, your collarbone. Ah, how did you break your collarbone? Oh, that's painful. That's a bad one. How did you manage that? Playing soccer? You broke your collarbone playing soccer? What'd you do? Like, ram the goalpost or something? I mean, I could understand if it was your arm or your leg or something, but your collarbone, that's rough. You didn't break your collarbone playing soccer, did you? Rugby, maybe? Oh, I'm so happy I've never broken my collarbone. Oh, I cannot imagine how painful that would have to be. Oh, that makes sense that you were playing goalkeeper. I guess that would be the only position that you could potentially hurt yourself significantly with. See, oh, that's just painful. So I'm happy I've never had a collarbone break because, yeah, oof. Sorry, friend. That's pretty painful. I best, I'll show you. I'm playing Diablo this morning so I can chat. So I guess I'll put that. Oof. Oh, that's rough. That's really rough. Well, I wish you a speedy recovery because a collarbone break is pretty much, a really bad one. But luckily, as a collarbone break, it's not going to be that bad later on. As an American, oh boy. So, do you live in Australia, right? Is it like an exchange player that is playing over in Europe or in Australia? There we go. All right, good. Yeah, I accidentally broke someone's arm before when I was playing in high school. I ran into him too hard because I was trying to go get the ball, and he turned wrong whenever I went in for the tackle. It's never fun hurting somebody. I hate hurting people. I've never been a very aggressive person. I'm aggressive on the field, but um I'm not like purposely going out to hurt somebody. Like that's never ever been my intention. It's always the worst feeling when you accidentally hurt someone. It really is. Oh, okay. I've always wanted to visit Australia. It definitely is on my bucket list of places to visit eventually, but we'll see. I hopefully can get there someday. Never played before. So that's the biggest problem. I don't really like to play with people who've never played before for that exact reason. They usually end up hurting someone or they end up hurting themselves. So I mean, it's. I'm glad that they're interested in playing, but at the same time, it's like you got to be careful. Soccer's not about tackling, like physically tackling people. It's about winning the ball and thinking strategically. So just chill, dude. But because I've always noticed that people that have never played they make very reckless, dangerous tackles and can be very dangerous to themselves and to everyone else. Oh boy, my stomach is growling, but I can't eat breakfast. It kind of sucks. I think I played Rec League for a little bit for fun, just because I had downtime when I was about 27. Honestly, I couldn't do it. I got too many fouls called against me because I'm used to playing FIFA rules and like playing on a very high level. And then whenever I started playing the Rec League, if you go in for too hard of a tackle and take the guy out, they get upset and call a foul. And I couldn't do it. I was like, this is kind of weak for me. So you don't want to slide in as a right back. That's definitely something you don't want to do because you actually could potentially give up so much space and have a goal scored on you. So if you're playing like right wing or, on the outside mid position, then yeah, you can kind of risk it a little bit. But slide tackling as a defender, in my opinion, I've never been for it because you give up and risk too much when you do. And it really is just not worth it whenever you kind of allow it to happen. It's better to play smarter in space control as a defender. What's that? What is that? Oh, I know what that is. My stomach is growling. I am hungry. Jesus Christ, I'm getting too many. All right. Yeah, I always would switch to right back whenever we needed it, but I've always told my coaches or whoever I was playing for, if you want to get the most out of me, put me as left back because I can utilize both sides of my feet. I'm able to control the game, and I understand, what I need to do, and you don't have anybody who can really use both feet. So I've always played left back. I've enjoyed left back, but I always get stuck playing left outside mid because they're like, well, if you can play left outside mid and you can shoot, then you probably should be playing here. So they'd always put me there. Yeah, that's good. I mean, I tried playing at low levels, but I always end up getting in trouble because I was trained to play very aggressively. So if I go into tackle, I'm coming in to make sure I either stop you or I put enough pressure on you to win the ball. And I'm used to playing against people, where you really have to try to take the ball from them. And like when you don't play at a high level and then you play at a low, if you play at a high level and then go play at a low level and you try to apply the same principles, yeah, it doesn't really work as well. It's not as good. I got in trouble. I'd get in trouble a lot. One sec. One sec. I'm switching games. Oh. Well, I'm probably gonna have to go here soon. I'll be on later though, probably. Yep, I'm getting yelled at. All right. In Australia, there's really only 4 levels of soccer, local, state, professional. I would consider coming over to Australia to coach, to be honest. I don't care where I coach. I will travel across the world to coach, even in a place I don't even understand.